My name is Sam Blenkinsop and I ride downhill mountain bikes for a living.
Well, the Zerode's a belt drive bike, and I'm a big fan of new Kiwi ingenuity. So Zerode's probably a brand that's really doing that, and I like to see them taking on the World Cups. It's pretty cool to see them here racing.
The 2024 World Cup downhill season was pretty wild. And in the background, something significant was happening. Gates, a renowned belt manufacturer, is shaking up the game with a staggering €100,000 prize purse, up for grabs if someone manages to put a bike with a belt drive on the top step.
I've always loved just riding my bike. If I can remember, it was the only thing that I kind of got on with when I was younger. And then I met Win Masters, seen he had a sick bike, and I just started talking to him, and then we just literally got on, and then we just rode skate parks every day and dirt jumps, and then he said there was a race coming, so I was like, oh yeah, I'll come to the race, and then just started like that. I did well at the race, and then that came kind of easy for me. The best results I ever had was when I rode for Yeti, and then obviously LaPierre as well.
And this is a Pinkbike bike check. A race set up just because the track's a bit longer.
I think it was just those seasons, the tracks were really kind of suited to me with flat pedals, and they were really, we had a lot of wet races and they were like rutty, and flats were kind of good there.
How do you think you endurance on? What is it that keeps you coming back?
Obviously the progression in the sport, new bikes, development of the bike, and I think just the love of it.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Blenkinsop, when I started racing in like 2012-13, he was a top dog, you know. He was kind of top 10s, top 5s on his good days. So always somebody I've definitely looked up to. He was one of the only guys that would ever pedal in the air all of the time, off every jump, and that was like Sam Blenkinsop. No gloves on, sprinting every time his wheels were off the ground. Just, he looked like he had so much flair on a bike. And I mean, I guess somebody like him with so much experience, he's been through so many bike brands, he's been through so many teams. So for somebody like him to jump on a belt-driven bike and see the performance of it and then start preaching the performance of it, I think if anybody knows, it's a man with that sort of experience. So if Blenky sees advantages in it, then I'd say other people will as well. So the 100,000 being up for grabs for the first winner of a belt-driven bike is pretty insane. I don't think the sport's ever really seen a prize purse like that, especially for a component. You know, maybe a bike brand would put something like that in, and that prize purse is a pretty big carrot dangled in front of quite a few teams. There's already a couple of teams with pinion gearboxes in, and I think belt-driven bikes are definitely going to become more popular in the next 5 years. I'd be very, very surprised if the top kind of 10 teams weren't at least 50% of them on belt-driven bikes. So we'll see. I might eat my hat, but I think that's yeah, I think they're coming, and they're coming to stay.
The advantages for belt drive. You see, you can compare them to chains in two ways. A chain isn't a bad solution at all, really. However, that's predicated that it's aligned. The problem with chains is we try and run them at quite extreme angles because they go through the whole cassette. That then increases not only drag, but wear. So that's problem number one. A belt drive doesn't suffer from this. And the fact is with a chain is that it needs lubricating and it needs cleaning. A belt drive, I've ridden them, and every now and then you might like wipe them down with some lubricant and clean them off. Honestly, you could just hose it off and dump it in the shed. And that's pretty cool.
Oui, je pense qu'un vélo à boîte de vitesse avec une courasse est capable d'aller chercher un podium ou une victoire en Coupe du Monde. Je vois pas pourquoi ça serait pas possible. Comme je disais, il y a des avantages où tu peux changer de vitesse quand tu veux, le bruit, moins de poids sur le bras arrière. Ça peut éviter aussi de casser des bâches, des plateaux, des dérailleurs, ce qui arrive sur certaines pistes comme à Fort William par exemple. Donc je vois pas pourquoi ce serait pas possible de gagner une Coupe du Monde avec tout ça.
So it started off last year. I felt like I got my crestline to like as fast as I could get it, like everything. I tried all the suspension and everything. I was getting ready for the next World Cup and felt real good on the bike, and then literally I had the Zerode in my van, so I took it for a run, and literally the first corner I hit, I was like, what the hell is this thing? And then I went into the rough section and I was like, man, I've done nothing on this bike and it feels amazing. Did 2 laps and I just felt like I was like 5 seconds quicker already. I was doing things that I couldn't even do on my bike. Jumping into the steep section, like the first lap I did, like jumped into a steep section and just like felt like I could slow down and like grip the ground better. It wasn't bouncing like my bike was. Just really loved it. I thought, man, this is the bike that it could help me get back on the podium again and do things that I couldn't do on the bike that I was on at the time. It's hard, you know, like when you come to the races you feel good, you think you're going to do well, but then sometimes you do well. Like Val de Sol this year.
It's good, man, I'm loving it. Yeah? Keep raining, it's awesome, eh? This reminds me of shit at home.
Felt like I would have made it into the finals, but I was only like missed out by nothing. But then I was so happy with my run in the semis that I felt like even if I could do more, I was still really happy with what I'd done, and I felt good on the bike, and I felt like that was a win for me over the weekend, you know. Other people need to just try the bike or try the belt on their bike, and then they'll just realise that it is a lot better for what we do as racers, like for World Cup stuff. Everyone's trying to find those little edges and things. Maybe it won't be on some bikes is good, but then I think some designs, it's like the missing piece of the bikes that could make the bike really well. Yeah, like last weekend it was my 19th World Champs, and it's like, it felt like it was still the first one. I just still really enjoy it. I've been excited for like a wet race when you get into practice when it's wet, and it just makes good ruts, and it kind of suits me, that kind of style. First day of practice on the hill was absolutely awesome. I was like kind of hating it, as you do, like at the start getting up there, goggles were all foggy, standing in the rain. Everyone was kind of sad, and then literally got into the track and just, it was so much fun. Just had to clean your bike every lap because it was so heavy and claggy and stuff, but man, the tracks, I love this kind of stuff. Like, this is what we race, like pretty much all our crankworks are like this in Rotorua, and then sometimes we have nationals like this too, so it's similar kind of conditions, like clay, gnarly stuff. So, and we grew up racing this kind of conditions too, so it's kind of like the English guys. All the English guys I was talking to, they were just loving it too. They're like, yeah, it's just like home. We're like, yeah, it's okay. So yeah, it sucks cleaning everything, but man, when you're riding in the time, it's fun as. I wish we just had another hour of like practice, because then kind of get 4 or 5 runs in instead of just 3 practice runs and then 3 hours of cleaning and fixing your bike. So it's a bit of a pain, but, and also we don't have the afternoon session. They've cancelled it, I think. So yeah, it's a short day, 2 hours of practice and day's over really, and then we'll see what happens tomorrow.
You getting on?
Been loving it, eh? Don't know now if I want to put dries on or not because it's so fast at the top, and like it's high pack, so, and I'm so late in the quali, so that's the thing. I think it is different now. Like you see the juniors now, they're already professionals, you know. They're thinking of maybe the paycheck or whatever, you know. When I was younger, I was just like, I'm here to ride my bike, that's it. I don't really care about anything else.
Did you just come up?
Yeah, I rode up the road. On my down bike from the bottom. Just a quick warm up. Didn't even sweat. Like, oh, I was getting this money and winning races and stuff, it was cool, and then I could buy houses and stuff. But I still was just like, I'm just riding my bike. And I think it's been the lucky part for me. Like I feel like most of my friends at home, like looking back at them, they just work 9 to 5 and then they work all year for like a 2-week holiday at the end of the year, and I feel like my whole life's been a holiday. So I feel pretty grateful for that. It's pretty cool.
This time next year, I hope that we've paid out the prize pool to a rider. You know, I think the conversation has started and people are genuinely more curious about a belt drive and a gear drive than they were, say, 2 years ago.
We're certainly working on things that we are really excited about.
Do you think that Gamix could be taking the £100,000 prize purse next year?
Yes.